Interested in New York? You're not going to want to miss this. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of K&J Travels, and we'll be reviewing our time in New York that we took 2 weeks ago on Valentine's Day weekend for 4 nights. We will give you how we got there, where we stayed, our destinations we visited, as well as different other things that you might be needing in order, if you're interested in visiting New York, we can inform you of all that. But before we get started, hit the like and subscribe. We want to be able to give you the best content possible. We know that you have a choice in many other content creators, but we are very grateful that you choose us. And let's get started. So 2 weeks ago during Valentine's Day weekend, me and my wife took a trip to New York for 4 nights for two reasons. Not only for Valentine's Day weekend, we did it last year and we went ahead and continued the tradition this year, but also we celebrated my wife's cousin's birthday. Her name is Carol. Shout out to Carol and her husband Gary. They showed us a good time over there. That was pretty awesome. So first things first, the flight. We flew on JetBlue. JetBlue is just amazing. When you go to New York, JetBlue is kind of like the obvious choice, for my opinion, in order to travel to New York because their amenities are just great. If you have a JetBlue credit card, everything's kind of 50% off there. You get a complimentary drink. They also have free Wi-Fi there. So the ride was just comfortable as it can be. It was 4 hours and a half to get there. It was pretty quick. We landed at JFK Airport instead of LaGuardia or in Newark. Newark, we used to do that the first time. Unfortunately, JetBlue does not fly to New Jersey anymore, so we actually opted for JFK. So that was the first thing there. Then after that, instead of taking an Uber, which could cost us up to $80 to $100 to our hotel, we actually took the air train, which cost only $8.50 to get us to the Jamaica station. And then from there, we take the E line going to Manhattan to get to our destination. And then we walk about 2 blocks to get to our hotel. So that's about as easy as it got for less than $12. So I'll definitely recommend that. We stayed at the Renaissance Times Square, and the first thing I was really impressed with was the location. The location is basically prime. It's right in the middle of Times Square. As soon as you walk out, you make a right. You could literally go behind the building, and it's right there. So the red steps are literally right there. So that's one thing that I definitely like is the location. If you want to be in the middle of it all, that is a prime location. That is the hotel that we want to be at. But we also experienced some other things. It's a little weird because as soon as you walk in, you take the elevator, there's like a lobby right when you walk in, but then there's another lobby when you go up. And then as you make a left, as you walk out of the elevator, there is the R Lounge. And the R Lounge just has a great view of all of Times Square. People kind of wait until it opens. It opens at 5 and closes at around 11. And people want to get a prime seat there. And you can get some food, you can get some drinks there. And the location of that is just beautiful. But unfortunately, if you happen to make future plans to go to New York between now and 6 months, they are going to be closing that side because they're going to reconstruct that whole area to look probably they're going to renovate it. So unfortunately, I don't know when they're going to start that renovation, but for 6 months, that area is going to be closed. And they actually opened up the right side of that lounge, of that whole area where there's a market. And there's also like views on that side as well. And it's probably going to be like a small bar, but that's what they're going to have for right now. Between now and 6 months, I was told the R Lounge will be closed due to renovation. So if you happen to catch it between now and then before they close it down and do the reconstruction, then you're lucky. We were fortunate to do that. The food, on the other hand, at the R Lounge wasn't all that great. It was basically average. I didn't really like it that much. The good thing is you get like a $25 credit if you spend in that R Lounge. So it's pretty cool. So you get basically $25 off. So that was pretty cool. And then getting to our room, we had a room on the 8th floor. It was a king bed. It did have a fridge to put all our stuff, so that was pretty convenient. It had a little nice view of the street and obviously all the digital screens that you could see from right there. So I actually liked it. Like I said, I mean, location is prime. It was definitely a reasonable price. I can't really tell you exactly what the price we paid for at the time because my wife had purchased some kind of a package deal. So I wouldn't be able to get you that immediately, but I'll just put it in the description once I get that information to you. Let's talk transportation. Now, to get through New York, the best form of transportation, in my opinion, and by far the cheapest and affordable, is via the train. There's always the train that can get you from anywhere you want. It is pretty awesome. Their transportation system is pretty solid. I would definitely recommend, if you want to take the train to get anywhere, definitely do it. It only costs like less than $3. So I would definitely take advantage of that. But there is the option of Uber, there is the option of Lyft, and you can also take a taxi. Don't be afraid to take a taxi, because I know in Los Angeles taxis are very expensive and rideshare actually is more competitive here as opposed to New York. Actually, their taxi system has competitive pricing in comparison to the rideshare. One of the things that I do is I download the Curb app, and the Curb app, you can actually request a taxi and then you give them a code, and actually gives you better pricing through the app if you take a taxi. So I definitely would recommend that. If you want to take a taxi, it's a better competitive price sometimes than the actual Uber or Lyft. So definitely take advantage of that. Or if you want to get around even cheaper than that, take the train. It's just as effective, but in some cases, if you want to take a cab, definitely you should do that. So I definitely would recommend that, traveling through New York. Let's talk about the food. There's various choices in New York. Trust me, there's plenty of choices that you can choose from, but I'm going to tell you the ones that I've been through. Let's start in New Jersey, where we went to Lefty's, a Mediterranean place where we celebrated Carol's birthday. The food was great. We didn't catch the vibe that I've seen on social media where it's like a big old party and a DJ. Yes, there was a DJ, but it wasn't that big old festive party that I would see in many other Greek places. Like this one was one of them, but unfortunately we never caught that kind of vibe. Although the food was great, Carol had a great time, and we also had a great time there. And then we ended up going to Gardenia, which was a hookah and bar, which was located within 10 minutes of our hotel. So we ended up going way to New Jersey, and then ended up coming back to New York that night. And that was great. So the hookah, the actually the wings that were roasted were very, very good. They were not fried. That was pretty impressive. So I'd recommend that place as well. And then the two definitely places, or the three places that I definitely go every time I'm in New York so far. First is the steak frites. I might botch this. It's called Le Reali de Venice. And that is a steak frites place where for $35 a person, you get an appetizer salad, you get 2 rounds of steak and fries, and then you get to choose your dessert. So that place originated in Paris, and we love going there. So I heard there was one in New York, so we end up going there every time we come. This is our, like I said, this is our second time in New York, so I definitely wanted to experience that. And then another thing to also to experience is Adele's Famous Halal. Adele's Famous Halal is a place that definitely you should be waiting in line for. Some people wait as long as an hour. The very first time I got to experience this food, I waited as long as an hour to get it. The spicy rice, the lamb and chicken combination, the white sauce, salad, fries, all for $12. It's totally worth it. It is to die for. Definitely Adele's Famous Halal is definitely a must. That is located in between the Fox building and the Radio City Music Hall. Definitely you should try that. And then another place that I always try, I have made it a tradition that the last night before I end up going back home to LA is Yama Ramen, which is a ramen place known for their ramen, but I go for their sushi. Sushi is very, very good there. So I definitely like to go by myself. The first time I went by myself. The second time, I also got to dine by myself. But I like going there. That's like my little ritual the night before I end up going back. And then the last place that we also visited was in Astoria, Queens, New York, which is called Taco Tumba. And Taco Tumba is pretty much of a vibe too. They have entertainment. We didn't catch that vibe that day because it was on a Sunday afternoon and it just barely opened and people were barely walking in. It's known for their tacos though, but I took advantage of the $40 per person bottomless mimosas and bottomless sangria, which comes with a 3-course meal. And I was very impressed, especially with the tres leches. It was very moist, along with the chocolate mousse was very, very good. The desserts were very, very good. Overall, the food was good. I was pretty impressed about that. I would definitely would recommend all these places going to New York. But like I said, there's various options all over the place. You're not, trust me, there's so many options to choose from. You don't even got to worry. But I recommend the ones that I just mentioned. All right, let's talk about the shops in there that you can do in New York. And a lot of people do a lot of shopping, especially on Fifth Ave, which is famous for all the shops on that street. I went to the Nintendo store. That is the only Nintendo store that they have in the country, Nintendo New York. I wish they had one in Los Angeles, but obviously, when people like to visit the United States, New York is probably the number one destination. And they usually have shops from everything. They got an MLB store. Obviously, they got Saks Fifth Ave, that's the original. My wife actually got to shop for a pair of shoes there, and unfortunately, at the time she had bought the shoes, but then ended up taking them back because it just didn't work out. And I kind of understand what you ladies might be feeling. The more expensive the shoe, the more uncomfortable it really is. And if it's not the right fit and it's going to kill your feet, it's not even worth spending hundreds of dollars on a really sexy shoe that you're going to feel uncomfortable in. So I kind of understand that. But, if you really want to get some shopping done there, obviously Saks Fifth Ave and Rockefeller Center, that is the place to go. And you could just about visit any shop there all the way down the street. It's like miles long, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. All right, let's talk about the destinations we visited on our trip. We actually visited two destinations definitely that were meaningful. The first one was the World Trade Center, Ground Zero, and that was a pretty great experience. And that was actually near the New York Mall, which was across from it. That was just a great experience overall. I mean, just to look at, just to be there and just enjoy the whole thing. And my wife, it means a little bit more to her only because she watches the documentaries on Hulu on 9/11 all the time. I don't know why she does it, but she always feels, a certain way about it. And she really wanted to go out there and actually see it for herself. She had never saw it for herself before, just the waterfall and then the memory of every single name that is engraved there. That was pretty awesome. And then obviously the museum that's right next to it and the mall across from it. That was a pretty nice experience to go through. And then the second place that we got to visit was we went to the financial district. We went through the financial district and I got to see the Raging Bull, and I got to take a picture with the Raging Bull because, I like to do stock trading, and I'm an investor and I'm into the stock market. And one of the things that I wanted to do was to visit Wall Street and take a picture with the Raging Bull and rub it for good luck. So hopefully it can give me the financial freedom that I'm looking for through this channel, obviously, as we're trying to build something here. So that was quite an experience. Obviously, there are many other monuments and many other destinations you can visit. We tried to visit a skyrise. We were unsuccessful because of the weather. The very first time that we came to New York, we visited the One Vanderbilt building, and that was a great experience. I will give you information on that as well. That was a great experience. So if there's a skyscraper to visit, that's the one that I would recommend. Obviously, there's other ones called the Edge, and then there's other skyscrapers you can visit. But I definitely like that One Vanderbilt building when we did it the very first time. And definitely visit the Ground Zero. That is a place definitely to experience. And then, like I said, if you ever get a chance to take a picture with the Raging Bull, I definitely would recommend it as well. All right, let's talk about nightlife for those who are interested in that. Well, for us, we always like going to this one Dominican spot called Cafe Nunez, which is located just like within like 10 minutes away from the hotel. I'll actually give the address in the description and the website. But we love going there, and we always like getting the VIP room called the Santo Domingo room. But just because we come with a big group, and they actually offer a pretty decent deal where you can get a bottle for like $250, which we always request a bottle of Don Julio tequila. I mean, for $250, that's not a bad deal. You go anywhere in Los Angeles and get bottle service, you're paying almost double. So I actually like that. That's actually a pretty good deal. So we could obtain that room if we're able to buy a bottle, and for 250 amongst maybe 5 people, 6 people, that's actually not bad. And then later we also could order food. The kitchen is open till late to like 1 a.m. And one of the things that we always get there are the steak sandwiches. So they recommended it to me. It was really, really good. So between all of us, and then they also have hookah there. So that was definitely an enjoyable moment. That's our second time. Every time we come to New York, we go to that place. We always party there. They got great music and they got, just great vibe, good people. The drinks are great. And I definitely recommend that. I mean, we've been the very first time that we went to New York, we went to a place called Skylark, and that was a nice little lounge with great music overlooking the skyrise. So there's many skyrises you could experience in New York, but I've been told that you could actually go clubbing in Brooklyn, and clubbing in Brooklyn is pretty awesome. I've not tried that yet. So unless somebody could comment, put it in the comments. If you know a spot in Brooklyn, please let me know, because the next time I go to New York, I definitely want to experience clubbing in Brooklyn and in other parts of New York, because I don't want to stay, just to limit myself to Manhattan. I want to be able to experience stuff outside of Manhattan. I'm pretty sure there's way better places that I have not visited. And if you could help me out and let me know in the comments and let me know what kind of places you recommend. Overall, our experience in New York was simply amazing. When visiting any part of the United States, New York definitely needs to be on your short list, because it's a city that never sleeps, kind of like in Vegas, but with less partying. There's just a whole lot more to do. People are out and about, out on the streets, and there's just a lot of action out there, and there's just so many things to do there. You can walk around, you don't have to limit yourself, and there's just different places that you can visit. Obviously, we didn't get a chance to visit anything beyond like New York, like in Brooklyn or like in the Bronx or stuff like that, which I'm very interested in. And I definitely would go out there next time, and I definitely would come back. Just the overall experience, meaning the flight, just the transportation, the experience, of celebrating Carol's birthday, the stay at the Renaissance. I give it a 9 out of 10, definitely, for sure. Probably the only thing that, stops me from being a 10 out of 10 is maybe sometimes, it could be a little bit pricey. Just got to understand, though, when you're in Manhattan, things are a little bit more expensive. So definitely save and plan for that, because there it could definitely hurt your pocketbook if you're not responsible in terms of like how you're going to spend your money there. But other than that, the experience is totally worth it. It all depends when you go. We always go in the winter, around February, around Valentine's Day weekend, and it's very cold. It's usually like 30, 40 degrees. So prepare for that. It's usually snowing or it's raining. So if you decide to come in the winter, definitely dress warm, definitely pack warm. You're going to need that. So you definitely want to be prepared for that. If you happen to go in the summer, it's a little bit warmer, but I like going in the winter. I mean, that's my only experience is going in the winter, but maybe hopefully if I get another opportunity to go in the summer, maybe I can compare, my experience in the summer versus my experience in the winter. Definitely, it was a great experience. Definitely, I would recommend it. Definitely, you would want to visit and experience New York. It is a vibe unlike no other. So, last thoughts here. Please like and subscribe to our channel. If you haven't seen our New York video, go ahead and watch it, because everything that I'm telling you, what we experienced, you could actually see it in that video of our 4 nights in New York during our Valentine's Day weekend. And I got to celebrate Valentine's Day with my wife, along with celebrating Carol's birthday and seeing Carol and her husband Gary. That was awesome to do, and we always have a good time when we're with them. But please like and subscribe, grow the channel. I currently only have like 143 subscribers. I'm trying to get to the 500 or 1,000 to even get monetized, and I can't do it without your help. I am so grateful that you choose us in terms of choosing content and getting your information about travel. Hopefully I will do like a year review of what were the best places that I like to do, but I will do that at a different time. But without further ado, saying goodbye, safe travels.